Hey guys, welcome back. It's Lucid, and we are back with Bogarus. So this is our current turn. It's live, and yeah, let's take a look. We cast Auspex, didn't find anything. We cast Voice of Apps. We found a Boiling Bog. This is really good. We like them fire gems, and this gives us a fire gem and a water gem. Cast Haru Specs. I don't think we found anything, and then we have a Dire Portent. And a pitiful prophecy for a pitiful would-be god. Close the Gale Gate, set free the storm, and lay waste to these nursery tales once and for all. Yeah. So, this is a little annoying. Calum has put up Gale Gate. A huge amount of aerial magic is effectively channeled through the gate, produces 20 gems each turn. Not all the powers of the Gale can be harnessed, though. Hurricanes and storms will randomly be unleashed from a province not controlled by the caster. So, I don't think we had any of those hit us this turn in particular. But I actually need to figure out the chances of that. Because we have a chance. Okay, there's so much to talk about, guys. Ooh, all right. So, what this means, before we get into the rest of the turn, is that he's going to probably put up Dark Skies. There's a Thaumaturgy spell. It's in the same school as Dark Skies. A lot of people don't go very high in Thaumaturgy at first, but he's already at Thom 8, so he rushes. It means his research is really right on par with ours, because we're hitting our first 8 this turn. It's probable that we're more spread out than he is my guess, but he's probably pretty close to us in research. But yeah, so he puts up Gale Gate, and then you use that to control Dark Skies. And he could have done a pretty big casting of it. And this is really strong with late age Calum because they can do morale plays pretty well. They're not like the best at morale plays. They kind of just do Wailing Winds. They don't do the blood stuff or the nature stuff too. But none of that matters when you're in Dark Skies. So it's going to be very difficult to attack into him. This also is going to put up Darkness, which is kind of good for us because it's going to mean our horrors are going to be using Darkness. Calum, for example, does not really have Dark Vision, so it's going to be bad for his troops. Our skeletons are going to... I mean, really, we're like a skeleton elemental horror nation, really, at this point. We're not like... Our troops aren't really going to do much except stand in the way of stuff from killing our mages. And as we go farther into the game, we'll start becoming a demon nation, which we're not yet. So this actually is kind of okay for us, but yeah, it's a really strong global. So that being said, considering that's the play, one thing is we can just kind of be okay with it. I don't think it's like game losing for us for him to have that. However, we potentially have the option to contest him, even though we have no air income. And the way we would do that is we're going to hit Alt 9, and then we can do Wish, and we could potentially wish for air gems. I mean, we wish for gems, but we keep the air, we alchemize the rest. And we could get a pretty healthy air income, such that we could probably, by the time he puts up a big, strong casting of Dark Skies, we could do a big, strong casting of Gale Gate. And at that point, it's just a matter of time until we control Dark Skies. And especially if we're focused on it, it's not going to be very long. But it's important to note the turn. It's turn 41, so the distance between here and when he puts up Dark Skies, which I'm guessing is going to be less than 10 turns, and he probably has like 15 air income, we can use that to guess how much he put into Dark Skies if we ever want to contest that. And we are a nation that can actually make very good use of it. That being said, we actually, especially once we get Thom 9, Calum really won't be able to fight us. Because we can do a morale play. Yeah, we can turn 1 steal all your shit. So, it's like, which one's stronger? Okay, anyway, this is Alt 8. We're hitting it this turn, and that's actually important. There's some really good things at Alt 8, like Will of Fates, obviously, right? That's kind of the main thing at Alt 8 you go for. Time Stop, also really good. But Disintegrate, very, very good on our occultists if they're set to advance and cast spells. It'll make it so, like, this will work against golems and things like that. So, and the AI does like casting it. So this is one way to zap the shit out of golems and stuff, which is something I'm worried about with Arco. Because I don't think Arco, the player, is playing anymore. I think he saw the diplomacy going south and he was like, peace. But yeah, if he were, or if he's partially playing or just floating ideas, there might be golems coming out, because Arco loves very, very clever golems. Sorry, I probably lost my train of thought. I just had to step up for a second. So my dog is getting into mischief. Or wolf, I should say. Keeps trying to eat stuff in my house. Things a dog should not be eating. Okay, so yeah, we get Alt 8, we get Disintegrate, that'll help us pop golems and things like that. After that, we definitely want Evocation 6. This is going to enable Mind Hunts, which is going to be super useful at killing stealthy things. It's also we talked about that last episode. After that, I think we want to go maybe Blood 6, which is going to give us quite a few things. Blood 6 is going to give us Call Horror, which most nations can't use. This is the battle version. But we can potentially use to do some pretty devastating damage. And if we want to, we might be able to try to get some of these Ice Devils, which would be kind of nice because we don't have much water magic right now. The other thing that it's going to give us is Infernal Disease. And this is really, really nice. But we're going to need the boosters for it. So I think there's a case for picking up this. If this war with Arco closes out, like if somehow there's devastating damage done before then, which I find pretty unlikely, we might skip it and go for Alt 9. This might delay the Alt 9 timing by like a turn, but I think it's worth it to just strengthen us up some before that happens. And Alt 9 is not really going to be kind of pure eco. It's going to be sort of eco. Because it's only going to just turn one gym type into another, which we can turn into Firebirds, which makes us more gyms, but I think you feel me. It's not like, holy shit, The other thing that I probably should mention while we're talking about alteration, one of the things Alt 8 gives us is Fata Morgana, and this is something I definitely want. It will fuck up all the scout reports, so that's kind of good, and it gets rid of Unrest. All things I like. All things I like. It's going to make it very difficult to attack into us. The details of what it does for the scouting reports are pretty interesting. 50-50. There's a chance that it will show that there are no units in a province, even if I have units. On the other side of the 50, there's a chance it will change the scouting report between, I think it's like 50% and 500%, so which usually ends up meaning it drastically inflates army numbers. It makes your scouting reports pretty goddamn worthless. Anyway, I wanted to have it, but I think to have any of the air globals, we're going to have to make a play to go for Thaumaturgy. But if we look at the timing of this, we're going to have this turn, and we'll have Evocation 6, not this turn, but next one. Turn after that, and we'll be making probably good progress turn after that to Blood 6. Turn after that, we get Blood 6. And then it's probably like 5 more turns to Alt 9. And so in total, we're probably looking at 1, 2, 3, probably like 8 turns until Alt 9. After that, we could... And by the way, we cannot come down and try to contest Galegate until we have Alt 9, because we don't have enough air gems. But if we wanted to, we could then start saving up to do like a 250 cast of Galegate. And that would happen probably like 10 turns later at best, really. That's not very good. So... yeah, that would be like 18 turns from now. Dark Skies would almost certainly be up, and he would be saving up more air gems. So I don't know if that will work out. We might just have to live with not having it, and him having all that other bullshit. If we had a real solid air income, not this piddly bullshit, things might be better. But anyway. Okay, so we've talked about the dire portents and all the meanings of that. Let's look at some of these horror attacks. So this one, he's got a few mages. He's got 4 mages in the back. I don't think any of them have gems. We got a har that lands back here. And these guys are running. More people getting paralyzed by the float cat hars. This guy's probably about to die. Frozen Heart really messing him up. These guys spend their ammo. And they come back and they yeet one of the mages. Now they've killed most of the mages. And it's just that guy, yeah. So, float cat, or spine membrane hars, excuse me. Not float cat. Float cat are different. Float cat are the damage reversal ones. Coming in pretty clutch here. They kill all of the mages, so it's -4 mages, and then some hoplites. So that's pretty good. Somehow the scouting report was showing like only hoplites. It didn't say there were any mages here, so that's a little strange. Next battle, this is right across the way, and this is his small little army he has running around. This actually is from the north. This is not the remnants of the army that was messing with us, because it's got, you know, his god here, who has lost both her eyes and has no magic paths. And yeah, just a small contingent of dudes. These guys are very good again at, like, very killy, but they also, unlike a lot of the other hars, they don't really have hardly any defense mechanisms. So they don't really get much done here. If we look at it, they just kill one heart companion. So, but this was only one casting, so I don't know. Even then, it's not a horrible trade, killing one heart companion for this. And, you know, every time we do this, there's a chance we have good luck and something, you know, pretty good happens. And there's also, I think, a very small chance you get a big har. It's like 1%. And here there's just PD. This is the province where he had raided previously with that white mage. And he actually put a fair amount of PD here. I guess thinking maybe they would have something to say about hars, and of course they don't. And by fair amount, I think this is 7. Yeah, I think that's 7 PD. And then he magic phases here on my little white mage with these guys, which have a lot of items on them. I mean, these are pretty expensive dudes, and then each of them have 4 gems. So to teleport... God, how much is teleport? I can't remember if it's 2 or 3. Yeah, 2 gems. Okay, so... you know, he spent 4 gems to teleport them, and then he spent... you know, 8 gems to summon all these water elementals. And, yeah, he kills my Bane. But my Bane only had... It was only a Bane with an anti-magic thing. And if you look at how much it cost me, it only cost me 2 gems to make the anti-magic. And I think the Bane is like, what, 5 gems or something? They're not expensive. 7? So... I spent 9 gems, and he spent 8 plus 4 is 12. He spent 12. So it's actually a pretty good trade for me. Coming down, he attacks us here in Lish. I can't remember if this was a scout. Yeah, this is just a scout again. This pinging, yeah, Lish is before it, so he's just pinging this. He might have noticed that some of my guys are starving. Not many. But a few of them. We can't really find them. So he probably hasn't noticed, but they are. Is it really not going to show anybody starving? Huh. And anyway, so he knows what's outside and sees my formation. And there's things to look at it that are like vulnerable. We weren't really expecting a fight, but... you know, like our mage core could be picked off with like mass flight and stuff. And... yeah, that's probably the biggest vulnerability. We have some guys kind of protecting attack rear, but not a ton. Yeah. So, we'll see what he's planning. Patala moved. So Patala is moving in, it looks like, to give the killing blow to Midgard. What's worrying is they have a lot of stuff on my border, which to me implies after Midgard, they're going to immediately end their nap with me. That's just what it seems like. That's just what it seems like. I think the problem if they do that If Vedheim kills TNG, the game's over. So I think, and if I kill them, then they might not be able to protect against Vedheim. And if they don't have enough stuff, I don't think they're strong enough to have their biggest, scariest force over here next to me, and then to also challenge Vedheim. Like, I'm not going to roll over and die. And honestly, I'll be able to kill this stack super fucking easy. Yeah. I don't think they can fight me. But there's a worrying amount of stuff on my border. It could just be to deal with elf raiders, but I'm also not sure. We're going to start putting some troops in here. In these forts. Having mages without any bodyguards is never great. So we're going to need a few troops here. And right now we're running pretty much on empty. But anyway, that's that for Kailasa. If we look over here, we've got now 4 out of 5 of Arco's cap circle, which is a lot. And he did not move his armies here, which is what I thought he would do. And that means he doesn't have a ton of options. Actually, we're going to go back and look and see what we think is inside this fort. It's turn 42. So let's go back. And I think we've only been on it for a couple turns. So I think it was like turn 39 or something. We should be able to see what was inside of it. Yeah, there's only 9 mystics. There's not a lot of stuff. He's also not really going to have a lot of options, like... And these are Orphic mystics. These aren't like the mystics. And so these guys are kind of limited in what they can do. I mean, they can do, like, summon Earth Power with the gem and then Strength of Giants and Legions of Steel and stuff. But there's probably going to be a lot of astral randoms here to jump into communion and do fancy things like big buffs. And there's no troops present. And if he moves everybody from his capital over here to Lish through Gateway, which is, I think, it's one of the moves he's probably at least considering, then his capital is going to be naked. So if we look at it, I think there's really only... There's not really a ton of good moves for him. He can do Gateway all these guys here. So, like, let's say 70 dudes, because there's a lot of mages here. Let's say Gateway 70 dudes inside, and then has the Orphic Mystics buff them. And maybe he puts up Fog Warriors on them. Like, maybe he puts the right gear on them so they can... Or gets the right mage in here and they, are able to wire up a communion well enough to get Fog Warriors off. So he has Fog Warriors and Legions of Steel and some other things. I don't think that has much to say to this. The things I'm kind of worried about, but I don't think he could maybe do Wailing Winds. That would be annoying because we don't have great morale. It's enemy dominion. Our guys don't have super high morale to start with. Yeah. And then... I'm a little worried about that. I'm a little worried about Earthquake. So what we've got to deal with Earthquake is we have round 2 Fog Warriors going off, which we can't really, without matrices and stuff, get round 1 or other kind of gear. I mean, yeah. So I'm a little worried about that. We're going to have Aerofind going up. We're going to have Mass Flight. So here's my plan. My plan, basically, we're going to have these guys up here. They're going to basically shoot at wall archers. All right? And that's going to be most of their job. These guys are going to go run past the gate and keep the gate open so that skeletons can come through. They're just on attack rear. Then we're going to make a decent amount of skeletons. Let's say we make... I don't know, 100 or something at the beginning. We have a round 5 Mass Flight, which should affect all the skeletons we summon, right? And so those skeletons and all of my archers and shit, when they run out of ammo, will jump across the wall and start murdering people. We're also doing Grip of Winter. I'm not Grip of Winter. We're also doing Rigor Mortis and life after death. Light of the Northern Stars, we have turn 1 anti-magic going up. A bunch of the things that will help deal with some of the cheese. And we've got a fair amount of Soul Slay in case there's some kind of weird thing. And I've got a lot of my guys, but not all of them, on Advance and Cast. This guy actually I probably want on spells. My other guys who don't have all the gems on them, like this guy, we'll put him on Advance and Cast. We've got 8 or 9 slaves, I can't remember. And this guy could be on Advance and Cast. He is. So we've got a few guys that are on Advance and Cast, and that'll probably be enough. Why is this guy doing Power of the Spheres? Not sure. So yeah, this is a pretty high commitment attack. If we lose, it's not like we're going to lose this whole theater. We'll just make another army real quick and run over there. However, it's going to be annoying. It's certainly going to be annoying. If we win, we're going to have to figure out... I need TNG... The thing is, one of the players for TNG has kind of been AFK. He's been busy. And the other guy's having to do it, and he's really busy. They haven't had enough time to really do these turns properly, or aren't thinking about them enough, or whatever. They've gotten completely spanked by Arco, is basically the long and the short of it. And it's a little sad. But to deal with it, what I need them to do is get their stuff together and then start scripting their armies right and come over here and kill him. But I can't afford to have Arco over here with all this territory making more stuff. Most of the, on one hand, I could be like, okay, and this kind of been my attitude. Like, I'm going to take my stuff and then let TNG take his stuff. But that was when I thought TNG was capable of doing it, in the sense that they were kind of winning. But now that I've heard that Arco's spanking them, I think I have to come kill their stuff, like Arco's stuff over here. I can't just do my thing, or this thing's going to drag out for forever. And there's bad things about it dragging out for forever, like the monkeys may go on me or what have you. So we'll have to see. But yeah, so what are we doing this turn? We're storming. We've got a few guys who are going to be camping out on the outside. We are going to be hitting both of these with horrors. I think we're hitting the cap with a horror too. And we've got this army moving in. It's been bouncing back and forth between here. I don't think it's likely that he's going to take this army and move it into me, or that he's going to patrol. I don't know what he's going to do, but I don't think he's going to do either of those things. Like, if the army gateway's over here, then at least we'll put his cap under siege if we lose this army. That will be a consolation prize. So we'll see. If this runs into just PD, I think this will win, but we'll probably lose some archers, which, guess how much I care about losing a few archers, guys? Not that much. Earth Elemental do pretty good here. If we run into a bit of PD, that'll squish a lot of dudes while the archers are shooting them up and the skeletons are all coming out. So, and he should be able, it's only showing him making 1. He should be able to make 2. Because in the Communion, he'll be Earth 3, and that should be enough to make 2. I think I've got him on conservative gym use, yeah, so we'll see. I'm not 100% sure how Communion gym logic works, but I think that will be fine. We're going to be taking these 2. I've told TNG we're hitting them, so if they're doing it, we won't bump, but we'll see. We're hitting this with a horror. I think this will probably... I'm not sure what's going to happen. And I'd like to take this. We're getting a black servant here that can come in here and take this stuff, but anyway. The other thing we're doing is I'm putting up defenses for this Shade Mail White Mage. So we're going to have these guys coming here. This should be able to deal with them pretty well. Yeah. And then we've got some guys coming here to do air elementals and advance and cast. And this guy's basically doing the same thing here. We've got some guys coming over here to do Soul Slay. And there's a pretty good chance that kills him. I think we already covered that. This province is already probably defended well enough. It's like a super budget defense. We're patrolling on top of this fort with this guy doing air elemental. We're I don't think we're patrolling on top of this fort, so he could presumably hit me here. I don't... Oh, we've got our army committed here, actually. I think it's actually worth patrolling, because our army's committed. And if your army... You don't want to have your troops unprotected. Your majors are here to protect your troops. So, I think what we're going to do with this guy is we're going to do Earth Power, Power of the Spheres, and then Soul Slay. This 20, I think it's actually better doing the other order. Power of the Spheres, Earth Power. Save him some fatigue on casting this. Yeah. So he'll patrol here. And that way, if the White Mage pops up in a lot of my provinces, we'll be able to kill him. If we don't kill him this turn, then we'll be able to kill him once we have Evocation 6, which will probably just be in a couple turns. So, yeah, that's basically it. We're putting the Stranglehold on Arco. Oh, the other thing I should mention, guys, is last turn, I probably should have been in the last episode, Arco asked me to peace out with him. He said, what would you think if... I think he wanted to keep this fort. I didn't really press because I wasn't going to take him up on it either way. But he was like, what if you just give me some of my stuff back? Like maybe I have this and you get, you know, a lot of spoils, you get these or something. I guess probably he was going to give up like this row of things, which was mostly stuff that he vultured off Atlantis, by the way. But I mean, it was a very fair offer, right? Because if you're going to ask for peace, you need to ask for enough land where you have a viable position. Like if he wanted peace but didn't want his cap circle back, like what are you doing? You know, it's not a very long-term peace. But, you know, if I gave him this and this and this and this, and maybe, you know, if I gave him these things back and he conquered Tianqi, it would be a viable position. Anyway, he basically wanted that, and he was going to go over here and beat up Tianqi because he's killed a bunch of their armies. And I was like, sorry, dude. I can't do it. I've told Tianqi I'm going to stick with him through this. Part of this, if this were another war, I'd be more likely to peace out. But the way we had to get into this was, like, this is going to be killing Arco the player. It was going to be a hard war. We were going to lose units. They were going to try to buy us out. Let's not sell each other up the river. Tianqi's already been trying to be bought out. He's refused. So I'm not going to leave my boy standing. So I don't know. It's totally possible we get wiped here by something I'm not expecting. This is going to be a kind of hard stack to cheese. It's going to be hard to cheese with golems. It's going to be hard to cheese with... I mean, I think it's going to be very hard. The only thing that I'm kind of vulnerable to is a morale play. We're doing some Sermon of Courage spam to help a bit with that. So... I am worried about that. But, you know, it's not a nation that can do this easily, by the way. It's only going to be their god which can cast it, and their god probably has to be part of a communion. And their god may not even be able to get here. I can't remember if the god can magic. I mean, probably can. It can probably put on a booster or something in Cloud Trapeze. I know he has Evocation 5. I don't know if he has 6 yet. If he wanted to have 6, he totally could. So we'll see. I don't know how fast my guys are going to run is kind of the thing. I don't have Magic Duel scripted because I don't have it researched yet. But that could be a problem. We also have a fair number of Soul Slays going off, which are going to kind of deliver value maybe a little faster than the skeletons. And ultimately, if he makes us run, we own most of the surrounding provinces, so we'll probably just kind of pick up most of our stuff and regroup. It's not probably going to be like a massive defeat. I mean, we're going to lose all of our communion slaves. Probably most of them. But I think that's probably okay. I mean, we can do things, too, that are going to make our communion slaves kind of hard to kill. Like, I probably should. We'll have one of these guys do invulnerability. Or we'll have him do it round 2. Round 3. Having a round 1... We'll have somebody else do it. I could have had the first guy do it. Anyway. We'll get invulnerability on them. I think we already have somebody doing personal luck and twist fate. I don't want to do soul vortex because then I'd have to split these guys up and not have them in a ball, and I'm kind of too lazy for that. But that would be a way that, you know, they'd be more likely to wake up. They're gonna have regen on themselves. We could have somebody do skeletal body somewhere here. Well, I don't know. I probably should have this guy do iron skin. Yeah, let's have this guy do iron skin and resist lightning. And yeah, that will make these guys pretty hard to kill. And there's a chance that if my guys end up routing because of Wailing Winds, most of my communion masters will make it off. But maybe the slaves wouldn't. But the slaves will have iron skin, and, you know, if we want to, we can maybe even figure out a way to get some kind of... I think I've got another guy here. Yeah, so we can have this guy do, like, astral shield and stuff here at the end. And maybe mist form too. And this will give... Oh, no, we're already doing fog warriors. So this will give them a chance to wake up before everybody else is run. And if they wake up with mass flight on them, they should just fly away. So we're also going to have Howl and Relief up for the fatigue play, Light of the Northern Stars, and a bunch of Soul Slays. And then a pretty oppressive amount of Archer Fire. Though we'll see what they target. Well, I have them scripted to target the wall archers, but maybe it would be better if they targeted something else. So, yeah, I think that's basically it. The morale play is what I'm worried about here. It's not... Arco is not a nation that does it well, but I think it's something they can do. It's something that would be pretty effective. It's something I'm kind of expecting, but I'm also kind of not prepared against. But that said, there's not really great ways to prepare yourself against it other than, like, me waiting until I have Master and Slave or something. Or I could do, like, turn 1 mass flight, but then I'd need a different army composition. Like, I need not to have all these archers. And I need to not have these guys guarding my mages. I need to have them basically attacking. So, you know, if this army gets wiped, we'll lose probably 10 or 12 mages and most of the archers or something, or they're going to run, and then we'll just regroup. I'm probably going to have to put a lot more money in making the right kind of troops to deal with the morale play, which is going to be a lot more of these axemen and what have you. But yeah, the other thing to consider here is making sure I have enough guys that these provinces will be a little hard to take, so he can't cut off my retreat route. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's try to make sure this one is a little harder to take. We'll put 13 PD here. And if I really wanted to... Can any of these guys make it here? It's cold, they might not be able to. And they can't. I was thinking maybe I move a mage here to, like, protect this retreat route, because this would be... He could potentially magic phase and hit all these. They're... You know, 10 PD is not nothing. So it'd have to be a pretty good thing, like... I don't know, these guys could maybe do it. Yeah, I probably need to secure one of these. These things that, like, you wouldn't normally have to think about, but against, you know, good players, it's definitely a thing. Definitely a thing. What are these guys? How many movement points is it to get there? 17. Just need one more movement point on this guy. I mean, really, guys? You're not going to help me out. Oh, the other thing I should be doing is, because I've got all these boosters, we can just go ahead and see if we get a lucky roll on site searching at some of these places. So, like here, we've only site searched Fire 1. Maybe we get... Oh, it's going to cost more. Well, I think we have the money. Oh, not quite. We get one of these alchemists here. I'll have to remember to come back and turn it off. Here, site search 2. Basically, I want to site search Fire higher. That rhymes a little bit. I guess we don't really have a great place to do it right now. It's a little frustrating. Do we? What other boosters can we use to site search? We could site search up to Astral 4 in some places, which is kind of worth it. We would need an Astral 2. I know I have a Calendologist somewhere over here. Yeah, we'll site search this up to 4. That's a nice little like optimization things to do at the end of your turn. Got a blood booster here we're not using. Just one astral booster and some fire ones. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. I think we have a pretty okay turn. There's a lot that can go wrong. You know, we could completely lose this army going on top of the cap. And we could, you know, lose the army storming here and get cheesed by something, or, you know, a million things that could go wrong with that. I think he's going to maybe risk a god to do Wailing Winds, but not do a huge commitment. Because I think for him to commit here, he has to risk like losing his capital. But if you're playing to win, like having your capital but not having any more fort, well, I guess he still has a fort over here and a fort here, so still 3 forts including his cap, but we'll see. I feel like he's probably going... I don't know. I just don't know. I have no idea if he's going to try to defend this with like a massive all-in or not. And I'm okay with losing some stuff, but we'll see. If he fights really hard and the monkeys start looking at me menacingly, he might be able to get me to peace out with those kind of terms he had before. But that's going to depend on what Tianchi does. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to get dicey, but I'm not going to give up on Tianchi this easy. And I do want to take this fort. And by the way, dealing with morale problems is something we're going to have to be dealing with Vettiheim. Vettiheim is great at doing morale plays, so we're going to need solutions to this. We're going to need real solutions. We'll take a quick look at graphs before we peace out of here. So graphs, provinces, you can see we're growing real steady. Forts, we're holding tight here. We've been doing a lot of fort upgrades this turn. You know, the past 6 turns. We haven't been getting new forts. Our forts are almost done upgrading now, though. Some of that's going to mean, because they're citadels, we can spend a lot more money on mages, so we're not going to have as much disposable income as we've had in the past. However, we've got a few new forts coming up. We've got a new fort coming up down here, that little southern peninsula around Atlantis. And we're going to build a fort north and south of our cap. And those are going to be 2 new forts, but otherwise we're doing very good on the fort front. Income, I'm not actually sure what this downtick was here, but it's gone back up. It's possible with the hurricanes and stuff from Galegate we end up having some kind of bad things happen, but we'll see. Gym income has been looking mighty fine. Mighty fine. I think we're position 1. It's possible Calum is pretty close to us with them having Galegate now. I think I wasn't even really thinking they were a threat, like I needed to scout them. But we're probably going to need to go try to get their graphs pretty soon. Vettiheim is probably way up here for research, so they're probably a good bit ahead of us. Our research, I was thinking, would inflect more up, but it really hasn't. I think we've got just a ton of mages committed to summoning Firebirds, which means, you know, if you think about it, Firebirds is a big cost. It's all the mage turns you commit to making them, and it's all the, you know, the fire gems that would have been lanterns. So we would have been way ahead in research. Not being caught up with Vettiheim is not a huge deal. Like, Vettiheim has very good research. I think Bogarus probably has better, but not by a ton. And, you know, because they get the forest hags and things like that, which are really cheap. And in Magic Scales, they're just great researchers. So anyway, it's a decision we made, and our research is good enough, I think. But we'll see. We already have a lot of our really important timings with 7s. You know, the timing we get on 9s is a little important, but we'll see. It might not be that critical. Dominion is looking really good, though. Real good. We're just crushing Dominion. Army size, we're pretty stable. Honestly, this is a lot of upkeep, too. That's like the other thing, too. If this army dies, I'm not going to be terribly sad, especially like the archers, because their utility in the game is kind of over. I care about them enough. We're going to escort them with mages, and we're going to have a real chance of winning a major engagement. But if they die, the archers dying is not the sad part. The sad part will be the mages dying. So we'll see how that goes. Then ascension points. I'm tied with Vedheim, but really Vedheim has another throne he hasn't claimed yet. So that is that. Have we gotten this up to 9? Oh, we have. So we can't preach anymore. We've got these Callisti. God, stupid Callisti. I think we're gonna have this guy come over here and get these places up to 9 as well. So he'll come preach over here, and I'll have to figure out a way to get these Callisti killed. They're pretty horrible. Especially if you don't have a bless for them at all. And they just have no utility except they cause unrest. Yuck. I'm not completely opposed to twice-borning this guy either. I mean, if I twice-born him, he can't preach, which is kind of the job I want him to do. But I don't know. If I'm not using him to preach, I'd probably rather have him in white mage form. And there's a chance he rolls an extra death path, which would be nice. So we'll see. There is a chance we twice-born him here and suicide him into this little pond. We've got this guy suiciding in too. He's twice-borned. I've coordinated this with Calum so they know, so they're not going to be freaked out. I guess there's actually a small chance here too. We should script this that there's a small chance here that white mage could make it all the way over here. It's very, very low, but it's worth considering. Do aim on this guy, advance and cast spells. We'll have these guys can't do aim. I think this guy won't do this. I think he's just going to do aim in mist form and advance and cast. Anyway, this will deal with a lot of raiders that were to come in here and mess with us. What's this guy doing? We'll have this guy jump in. We only have 2 slaves. We'll have this guy do some reinvigoration. Do we have any blood slaves I can give him? Yeah. We'll just do this in case somebody bumps into him. He'll do Power of the Spheres, Horde of Skeletons, and then I think this will almost certainly kill that stupid white mage if he comes over here. But we'll see. We've got the pressure turned up to 11. It's really, we've presented, he knows everything we're doing. Like we've presented this army to him. Hey, this is our army. He can look at all the gear. He can figure out what he wants to do. He's going to make a decision whether he wants to defend it. I don't think, I do think there is a way he can kill this or block the storm. I think it's going to be difficult. It will be challenging. And rely on some RNG with a morale play. And maybe there's other things I'm not thinking of, So we'll see. It could be a Phoenix Pyre Golem or something stupid. So we'll see. Because I know Arco loves these. We don't see any signs of a Golem here, though, which is good at least. But yeah, that's it for this turn. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.